Hello everyone and welcome to a new guide about the new boss at RuneScape. We're going to be talking about Kerapac, the Bound, especially the normal mode right now. We're also working on a hard mode guide, but you will need to know all of the normal mode mechanics very good to be able to do hard mode successfully, especially in a solo kill. So we're going to be speaking about mechanics. One thing to note is that the creation of this video is really close to the release of Kerapac, so there might be some things that change in the future. I will try to update the guide as much as possible, but if you see this guide, just take into consideration that it's a pretty recent guide, it's a pretty recent boss, and there might be other ways or other methods of handling everything. Actually, it took me this long because every day I discovered something new about the fight and I wanted to try it out and check it before I uploaded the guide. So without further ado, let's get into it. First of all, why do you want to do Kerapac? Well, you got, as always, a pet. This time it's called Carry, and its drop rate is unknown, so we still do not know how easy or hard it is to get, but it's beautiful and I've seen people getting it really fast. We have some uniques as usual, that is Kerapac Grease Grabs that modify some magic abilities and make them a really good pair of gloves. Greater Concentrated Blast Ability Codex that modifies Concentrated Blast to be able to bring Dual Wield Magic up to speed, and a new god book called Scripture of Jazz, which increases your DPS by a really nice amount, and I've been really liking using Scripture of Jazz as of late. The title, it's Time Weaver, however, we need to get all of the hard mode uniques to get Time Weaver title, so that's a shame. You cannot get the Time Weaver title only on normal mode. The other drops that he drops are Manuscript of Jazz. These are the pages for the new book, Hydrix Ball Tips, Soul Runes, and Dragon King Bones. A new type of bones that sits between dinosaur bones and reinforced dragon bones. And for the summary, Kerapac has a measly 200,000 LP maximum, however he has different phases, and as he has control of the needle and control of time, he can rewind itself, so you need to deal up to 675,000 damage approximately to end the fight. He has 4 phases, he has the same affinity to every single style, and I have successfully done solo kills with any style. However, for survivability, and if you're on the lower spectrum, like low weapons, low tier levels, and you want to do Kerapac, I highly recommend ranged, because he attacks with magic, and that will help you survive for longer, since his attacks can actually miss. He is poisonable, he is stun immune, so bring your weapon poisons, and he's weak to the Hex Hunter bow, making it a mage class enemy. So ranged is really good in here. You need a lot of mobility, so take that into account if you're bringing melee. Now for the requirements, I believe a player with 80 defense, 80 magic, ranged or melee of your chosen style can do Kerapac quite easily. He should be able to do a couple, maybe 3-4 kills without having to bank. He is a respawnable boss, so you don't need to go banking between every kill. A player with 70s or lower levels might be able to get a couple of kills too, but I recommend having 80s. Even so, you cannot use the rewards until high level 80s or something like that, so I strongly recommend that. And I recommend getting the Pontifex Shadow Ring, that is a reward from Asanandra's quest, with an item you get from Heart of Stone quest, and then it can be upgraded with City of Sentis quest. So I heavily recommend finishing City of Sentis, then getting a Pontifex Shadow Ring and upgrading it with 1000 Resonant Anima of Jazz up to tier 3. It will help a lot during the fight, so I heavily recommend it. The energy is quite cheap, so you can get it for 2-3 coins each. So it's about, let's say 10k to upgrade the ring fully, so it's not much to invest. Now, how to get to Kerapac? Well, you're gonna use your Shadow Pontifex ring to teleport to the Cathedral, and then you're gonna run all the way down to the Coliseum at Santisten. So we're gonna be running up, watching out for the Nodon Slayer creatures over here, and once you get to the Coliseum, you're all the way to Kerapac. Now, equipment. What equipment do you need for Kerapac? You do not need kill count, you don't need kill count, you do not need to go through much to get him, so it's pretty easy. And I recommend at least chaotic weapons. You can probably do it with tier 70 weapons, but it should be a bit harder, especially phase 4. For the head, chest and legs, I think masterwork is really easy to get. If not, you can bring Torva, tier 80 weapon Virtus, or tier 80 armor Virtus, or Bernix, or Port's armor. Port's armor is really good, especially if you're maging and you have animate death spell. Or basically any weapon. He's an easy boss. As long as you can dodge the mechanics, he shouldn't be too much of a trouble. You just need to hurry up a bit during phase 4. For gloves, as he's poisonable, Cinderbane gloves are a must. Poison damage actually is really good here. Also, another weapon you can bring is the Lania Chaos Spear. Since he's poisonable and he has high affinity, you can hit him quite easily with a tier 75 weapon, and Lania Chaos Spear poison damage stacking with everything just destroys him. For ring, you should bring Ring of Death, Asylum Surgeon, or your best ring. I truly recommend Ring of Death at the beginning, since you might die a couple of times. Kiln Cape or Skill Cape, and a necklace. I do recommend a Reaper necklace before an Amulet of Souls, since in the last phase he can ignore part of your protection prayers, so you are better doing more damage than having better protection prayers. And the pocket item, the Scripture of Jazz, is awesome here, a God Book or a Scrimshaw. Now, for the inventory, you need to have your combat kit, the same as usual. Shield Switch, Excalibur, Ancient Elven Ritual Shard, Overload, Renewal, Prayers, Vigor, everything that we have in our combat kit. You need Weapon Poison, Pontifex Shadow Ring upgraded for extra drops. You need to equip the shield at the end of the fight, and you need these runes from Disruption Shield. They can help, they can really help, especially if phase 4 goes long, but it shouldn't be that necessary. Food and a Bladed Dive Switch is really unique. Now, let's start talking about the fight. Along the fight, there will be several mechanics that are repeated throughout the fight, and I'm gonna focus for that. And let's begin with the Time Warp. The Time Warp is a special ability you as a player will get when you reach phase 2 that will allow you to save a spot in time and 10 seconds later get rewinded to the time. So as you see right now, I'm getting moved to a place and my adrenaline is getting filled. That's because right there I click the extraction button. As you can see, my character kind of siphons something from the air, and 10 seconds later I will be rewinded back there. One important thing to note is that your cooldowns are saved too. So if you have Barricade available, and as you can see I use the siphon and I use Barricade right there, I'm just gonna get rewinded back in time with full adrenaline and I can use Barricade again. However, as your cooldowns are reset, your current abilities aren't. So if you have 10 seconds left of Barricade when you get rewinded, if you get 10 seconds left of Barricade when you get rewinded, you still have your Barricade on, and you get full adrenaline and you get everything of cooldown. So it's a pretty good ability to use, especially when you use ultimates, and when you're about to use ultimate, you use Time Warp, and then you use your damage boosting ultimate, Death Swiftness, or any ability of that kind, and you will get rewinded with full adrenaline, so you can do a full damage rotation without needing an adrenaline potion, and it's pretty good. It also can save your life at some points. We'll be talking about the mechanics. Also, as you can see on this part, there are green and yellow special attacks. Every phase he goes through, the first 3 phases are the same. The only difference is that his last special attack is saved. So whenever he does his first special attack on phase 2, he will repeat the last time he did that special attack on phase 1. That will be clearer on a bit. So let's go on to special attacks. He has 3 special attacks and he will use it every 3 autos. He will do 3 autos, 1 special, 3 autos, 1 special. And the first one is Shatter. He will say something that I will tear through you, and you need to use freedom and move, since he will be trying to stun you. After he says that, a cloud will move from him to the other side of the arena and then start shooting green beams towards him. It's all magic damage, so you can use devotion. However, I do recommend moving away, and you won't receive any damage. One important thing to note is you want to make sure that Kerapac is as close to the border as you can, so that he will drop the cloud as close as the corner as he is, because of the echoes or the copies that appear during phase 2 and 3. As I was saying, during phase 2 he will spawn a copy and both will do the special. As you can see over there, we have a yellow thingy on the back, a yellow Kerapac on the back, doing it where we were on phase 1, and on phase 3 he appears twice. So you have the phase 1 special, the phase 2 special, and the phase 3 special occurring at the same time. So that's why you should have him facing towards the closest border of the arena. Other way you might get a lot of green beams coming towards you, and that can be a heavy magic damage and can kill you. There's another thing about this special, and that is that it can be prevented. I don't know, we don't know actually if this is intended or not. They haven't said anything, but if you walk below Kerapac right when he pounds his staff on the ground, no cloud will appear. So if you should really learn this mitigation. In normal mode it's not so important and you can dodge the attack, but in hard mode, being able to do this and prevent the clouds from spawning, it's actually pretty good. So the ultimate way to prevent this special is just walk below Kerapac when he pounds his staff, and the way we do that is right when he's gonna do the special, or when you know he's gonna do the special, right click on him, place your mouse on walk here, and just wait until he says I will tear through you, and that is the time where you walk below him and you prevent the special from happening. Actually, this clip is from hard mode, so it's a really good thing to practice even in normal mode. It will help you do the kills faster and prevent a lot of damage that you could possibly take. Now, the second special attack is the jumps, or how I call it, the pounds. He will say you will break between me and fly, and after a couple of seconds he will lay down on the floor, dealing melee damage. One thing to note is that if you dodge the attack, your mobility abilities will be reset. As you can see, I'm surging back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, because every time I dodge the special, my cooldowns are reset. So surge, bladed dive, escape can be used over and over. One thing to note is that to dodge this attack, you want to use surge, escape, or bladed dive as soon as the tip of the spear is leaning down. So check that out. As soon as the tip of the spear leans down, I use escape and it doesn't hit me. It's important to try to keep him localized to a small area of the arena, because he will spawn a clone during phase 2 as usual, and that clone will jump on the same places he jumped last. So as you can see here, I dodged the attack, well, I failed dodging the attack, and the other clone is jumping at his own rhythm. So what happens if you fail to dodge this attack? Well, if you fail to dodge this attack, you will get hit by a melee hit, and if it's the first or the second, he will stick to the ground, dealing rapid melee hits until you move away. So if you fail, just move away. And in phase 3 you also need to move, because you will have other 2 clones jumping around. So you will have a lot of clones jumping around you, and that will be painful to be able to dodge. After you get a lot of practice, you can actually force him to spawn the clones at the same spot, but that's a bit harder, and we're gonna talk about that during our hard mode guide. Now, for the third special, also, the bounces actually stun you if they hit you. So you want to prevent them from hitting you as much as possible, because getting stunned can actually deal a lot of melee damage. It disables, whenever it hits you, it disables freedom, anticipation, devotion, barricade. It resets your defensive, so you cannot mitigate the damage if you get cleaved. There's one way to prevent him from stunning, that it is owning a Pontifex Shadow Ring upgraded. So once you upgrade your Pontifex Shadow Ring, you won't get stunned even if you're missed. So I truly recommend getting that ring as soon as you can. Now the last special is the most dangerous one, that it's called Lightning Strike. He just yells witness the power of the staff, and from one side of the arena that line of lightnings will come over and deal rapid heavy magic damage. So you want to search through, or bladed dive, or escape. You want to use a mobility ability through the lighting to prevent it from hitting. Just remember that when you see it, since it's moving, you actually see it a bit later. So if you see it on a certain spot, by the time you move through, it will be one square ahead. So basically you have extra damage on the front of the special to whatever he's moving. The issue about here is that on phase 2 he will spawn 2 lightings. So you have the yellow lighting from the phase 1 and the green lighting from the phase 2, and if you can dodge them, it's fine, but sometimes it's really hard. So one thing you can do in advanced phases, for example in this phase 3 video, is I'm gonna be using a defender, and I'm gonna be using time warp and barricade in that order. That means I'm gonna get the lighting pass over me while my barricade lasts, and once the lighting is over me, my time warp will return me to my 100% adrenaline. So I recommend waiting till it's close and then use time warp and barricade to prevent the damage. It's a really easy way to do it. You can try to dodge it, but dodging 3 beams, it's really hard, especially if you do not have bladed dive and double search, because you won't have time to actually go through it, and tanking the damage is just too much. So those are the mechanics. On phase 4 he uses none of the previous mechanics. In normal mode on phase 4, what he does is he just becomes enraged with every hit, making him hit harder and ignore your protection prayers. So as soon as you can, phase 4 it's a DPS race, or he will kill you. So you just need to deal 75,000 damage. That it's pretty easy to do, pretty good to do, and it's gonna be probably really easy once you get to phase 4 to finish the normal mode fight. Let's check up a normal kill, a full normal kill on real time right now. So let's go check the fight really fast. So this isn't a sped up, this is the regular speed of the fight. So once you enter, you want to walk to the opposite side of the arena, and that will spawn the boss. So there you go, you're gonna start doing a death swiftness rotation or a damage rotation, and you're gonna start DPSing as much as you can. I want him to face the corner, and I'm gonna use freedom and move away to prevent the stun, and he's gonna fire that green orbs. Also, I want to say that during these phases, if you can deal more damage to the boss, you will actually skip some special attacks and he won't have clones. So there's spawns, and as long as you escape or search when the point of the spear goes down to the ground, you will be able to prevent any kind of damage, as you saw there. So right now he's on 70 form. I actually stalled him for a bit. I was about to face him, but I wanted to not face him so far, so that you can see all of the specials. But usually you can deal enough damage before the lighting, and you can then prevent the lighting attacks from happening at all. It's a really fast kill. Usually it takes about 2 minutes or even less with high enough damage. I think my record is about 1 minute 10 seconds, so you should be able to do it pretty easy. So now it's phase 2, we got time warp, and one thing I like to do in normal mode is time warp on a slot, so that way I will get all of my adrenaline back and I get all my health back, and I can keep using on a slot. However, there's that special attack. We just used anticipation, moved away, and he's gonna start jumping pretty soon. So here comes the jumps, and here I make a few mistakes. I searched too early, and as you can see, he lands on me and he starts hitting me with fast melee hits, so I need to get away from there. I searched the second time, dodging the attack, and for the third attack I just messed it up, but I only got hit once, so it's not that big of a deal. After the pounces, I do recommend you try to get to the middle of the arena if you are not at the middle of the arena, because the lighting is coming. And here we could be using time warp around here and barricade to prevent the damage, but I decided to use search. As you see, I got 1.2k hit from the lighting storm and I barely touched it. So it can become pretty dangerous. Right now he's gonna keep doing his attacks, and I'm trying to face him before he uses another shatter. So he's faced, I'm walking towards the door to keep the specials as split as possible and to give me enough space to dodge his echoes and his attacks. He's gonna go for the first one, so I'm gonna use anti-stun and I'm gonna move away. As you saw there, I actually took a bit long and I was stunned, but it should be fine. Just move away as much as you can. I moved too little here and I got hit by a lot of damage. And once you do that, well, the pounces come again. So that's the first pounce. I almost died there, as you can see, but you just keep eating, protect from melee, and it shouldn't be that hard. This phase I actually couldn't dodge any of his attacks. It was awful. Usually it goes easier. That's why I picked this fight too, because it's not perfect. It's far from perfect. It's actually pretty bad for a normal mode kill. So you can see even with mistakes, it's quite doable. You want to keep your protect from magic on, and if you are comfortable with, you can solo split flick. So right now I'm waiting. I'm gonna use time warp and barricade, and I'm gonna let all of the lightings pass over me, and you're gonna see how my adrenaline suddenly refills. More about now, and it's just bloop, adrenaline refills. I actually managed to use 2 fragmentation shots in a row, and he's phased. So in phase 4 he stops using mechanics, he goes to 75,000 LP, and he just attacks you with magic. Every attack being able to hit harder and ignore more of your protection prayers. So you can use devotion, you can use some defensives. I use resonance over the fight to keep myself healed, but you can also abuse the time warp ability, and there is my resonance, and as you can see, he hit me for 3k. He can hit up to 7k or something like that, and we just equip your ring and finish the kill, and it will drop 3 drops. He has 3 drop slots, 1 for each player that enters the fight. If you are solo, you get the 3 drops. If you are duo, you get 1 player gets 2 drops and the other gets 1. And if you are 1 man, you get all 3 drops. So I hope you liked this video. We're gonna be doing a hard mode guide soon. And as usual, I'm Saga Macaro. Hope you liked it. See ya.